What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. My name is John, and today we are going to be talking about more grind spots, and this time we're going to be changing it up. So you guys have probably seen the video that I did a few days ago where we talked about the best grind spots for XP. If you haven't checked it out already, I'll leave a link in the description so you can go watch that one. But this one, we're going to do the same format, but we're going to talk about XP, so whether you're a beginner or someone who's just trying to push levels in this game, I'll talk about what I think is good in just my opinion. So, I have taken feedback from the last video, and you guys said to do it from the perspective of a AP going like from lowest to highest. And so, keep in mind, this is just going to be for XP. If you want to see the silver one, other video. So, yeah. I want to start with a baseline of you are at the point where you're in the middle of seasons and or near the end of seasons. So at that point, you're probably around like the 220 to 250 AP range. So generally, that's where we're going to start. Okay. So yeah. So this is going from the lowest to the highest AP. And hopefully this helps you guys out as well. And this is going to be for all regions as well. So from 1 through level 60, I would say probably most people are just going to be either doing the story or following some guide that tells you the optimal spots just to level up quickly. And this is more like a little advanced than that. So anyway, we're going to start out at, let's see. We'll start off at the Desert Naga Temple just because I think this is a good entry level one. And if you're at the point where you're under the 100 AP range, chances are you just need to like enhance your Naru gear or Tuvala stuff in general. And I think it's really easy to get 100 AP and meet the requirements. So anyway, Desert Naga Temple was a spot that I used to grind back in the day. I wouldn't say it's bad right now. It's just there are more efficient spots for XP. So if you want to look at these, on PC, at least you can click the tags for combat XP, and then it just basically shows you all of this, and, you know, you could find all of that as well. But I'll give you my opinions just as a veteran player. Should you be there? Should you not? And what are the benefits of a lot of the relevant spots? So anyway, Desert Naga Temple. The density of grinding is very high, and the XP is okay. The one downside of grinding in the desert, in my opinion, is just being in the desert, and it's kind of just out of the way for a grind spot. So that's the one thing. The relevant items in here are obviously the various artifacts and the Syrup Neck. I actually know, well, everyone who reads like Global Lab patch notes and everything knows that in the future for high-end grind spots, you use yellow accessories, you're going to be able to power up a lamp, and basically it boosts the higher-end grind spots. So I think that's a little less relevant for beginner players, and it's more like a very high-end endgame player thing. But either way, Spectre's energies are very good. Marnie's research boxes are also good. What they do is, basically, it gives you a quest. You kill X amount of enemies, you turn that quest into an NPC, it gives you another, like, Marnie stone, and you basically do it again, and you just get rewarded for grinding. So, decent amount of XP. Money is okay, but, yeah. Tidium Valley, it's, I believe, Fogan's out in the desert. So let me show you. So this is where the Nagas are, the Desert Nagas. It's not too bad. Tidium Valley is down here. It's Fogan's. I remember grinding all the way to 61 here many years ago. It's obviously easier to do it not in the desert now. But this is a grind spot. The rotation is very simple. You just kind of go up this river, go up and down, and then there's another spot at the top. It's just a big circle. And you could probably watch some of my videos from many years ago if you're interested in seeing like the exact rotation. So that's cool. Let's see. All right, so where were we? Bastion Base. This one is not in the desert, but it's like down past Altanova. I remember grinding a 60 here back in the day. I think it's a very solid XP spot. I wouldn't really expect too much in terms of silver an hour here, but it's not really contested to the point where if you wanted to grind in peace for like an hour or two, you can probably do that. We probably won't see many people, and I think it's okay. Sawsins is... They used to be good. Then they changed the spot up multiple times over the years, and I don't know. I haven't been there in multiple years, but it used to be good. I think if you were to grind there, the best place or the best thing to do is grind there to like mid 50s, and then that's about it. Soldier Cemetery, a very good entry level beginner spot because it gives a lot of XP up until 56 or 57, but then mostly it gives skill points, which I think are very important, especially for your new players. It allows you to try out new things, and generally they made the change about a year ago where after around like 12 to 1300 skill points, that's generally enough to be able to max out all the skills for both your main and awakening and everything, and then all the skill points after that just go into weight training. So yeah, around 1250 is the soft cap, and then people who've just been playing longer just have a lot more. So yeah, that's about it. Soldier Cemetery, definitely a good beginner spot. I would recommend it, but you're there more for the skill XP as well. These spots are kind of irrelevant. Fattest Habitat is decent, but up until level 58. The density is pretty good there. You do a big loop in the Kama Sylvia area down into Spot, and it's just good XP up until 58, and then after that it just kind of falls off. The silver an hour, it's alright. It's not something worth noting. Sheer Ruins is an infinite potion spot. You're going for the gland and or the venoms. I would not grind there for anything else, to be honest. Spot like pain and suffering. I remember doing that twice for my infinite mana potions, and yeah, it's awful. So that's about it. You're there for the infinite mana potion piece. Crescent Shrine used to be good, kind of fell off. Once again, when I talk about grinding spots in the desert, the hardest part is, you know, getting to the desert, and then if you don't have a unicorn, it just takes that much longer to get to the spot. Kadri Ruins. Now this spot it's okay. It's not like the best at anything. It's just mid, I guess. And the reason why you would be grinding here is mostly for the artifacts and like the all DR, all evasion artifacts, and then I guess anything else that comes with it, the Marnie research box. But I think you could do well up until like level 60 here, and that's about it. It's not really amazing at anything. Now, Kahaz Bandits. I remember grinding here many years ago on multiple characters to get them to like level 61. I do believe this is actually still a decent spot. It kind of fell off over the years, but if you're just grinding in peace and you just want something mindless to do, I think this is definitely a decent spot to be. The silver is pretty decent for the amount of XP you get as well, so this is definitely a 140 spot that I'd recommend going to. Everything else, these two spots kind of irrelevant. Polly's Forest, very high XP spot, very high skill point XP spot, definitely one of the top 3 in my opinions for newer players to be grinding at. The silver, not so great, but XP for both like leveling up and skill points is definitely very good here. Prodi's Cave. This one's not bad. It's just kind of out in the ocean. Like Prodi's Cave is right here, and the hardest part is getting to the grind spot because it's out in the middle of the ocean. But if you get a ride there where you just get compassed there, it's not bad up until like 60, 61. Let's see, where are we? Blood Wolf Settlement. Now, this one is actually a pretty decent spot, like the 190 area, because it actually got buffed, so you're going to get a lot of silver. You're going for the infinite potion piece as well. And these orange Cagdanacs are actually good because with the Land of the Morning Light, they introduced a lot of new crystals, and this allows you to make the new Macalods and Hooms. If you turn it into the Dark Red Fang Armor or Valor crystals, they sell for like 300 mil each. So if you get an orange one, which is like a pretty high drop rate, actually, I remember grinding there. Now you can turn it in for straight silver, and then of course you're going for the infinite health potion, which is there. So it's a very easy spot. Sometimes you might over clear, but generally I think this is a very good spot now, so definitely check it out at some point. And I think it's good XP up until like 61. Centaurs, we all know this spot because it gives a lot of money. The XP is trash, but you have to use Agris there, and it's just like one of the very high-end spots for silver an hour, especially for newer players, and just keep this one in mind. And usually after level 60, 61, leveling up really doesn't mean anything. Like, yeah, you get some extra health and stat points randomly for leveling up, but I think people tend to like come from other MMOs with the mentality of, oh, gotta get max level and then do everything else. In this game, past 61 or 62, you want to grind for gear more than, or like gear and silver more than XP, and you just kind of get XP over time by playing the game. So Centaurs is definitely a good one because you get a lot of silver here. Shuriken Necropolis down in the Duvenkroon, Drigan area. Day and night have two different mechanics. I do believe the XP is decent here, but mostly you're grinding here for the infinite health potion. So all of these items are very good. The Garmoth skills are very expensive. Marnie research box, and of course, you know, accessories and stuff. So the way this works is, you know, daytime, you grind your circle just like any other spot. Nighttime, on the other hand, you go to a crystal within the grind spot, right? And you pay a little bit of energy, and then it summons a boss. And the boss has a very high drop rate of the infinite potion piece. So that means if you're pushing that exclusively, then I would recommend doing it at nighttime over daytime. But realistically, it doesn't matter. Just grind it and you'll get it done eventually. Navern Step. This is more for the infinite potion piece. I've seen people and grind here, and it's just okay, but you're here for more of infinite potion pieces, not really for silver. You get the feathers as well to upgrade your pet from tier 4 to 5, but that's about it. Sulfur, Pilaku, these are more for artifact items or like legendary, whatever they call it, antiques. So they're not really that great anymore. These spots kind of fell off to the point where if you're grinding in these two spots, you're grinding for the archaeologist map, and that's about it. Sakraya upper, or Sakraya, the underwater ruins, the upper level. So let me show you this for a second. Sakraya is over here. The reason why it's difficult is because it's out in the middle of the ocean. So here's how I would do it. If you were in Velia, take one of those traveler's maps and get yourself to Ilia Island. And then from Ilia Island, you would run to like around this spot and then dive underwater. And then from around here, once you dive underwater, you escape, and then it'll take you to the upper Sakraya area. And then the difference between upper and lower is like the 260 versus 230 AP zone. So I do believe that upper Sakraya is a very good XP spot for like the mid game players. And yeah, I definitely think it's worth going to. So yeah, now that we are moving into the lower 200s, this is a very good spot. Red shards are worth a lot. Tungrads are worth a lot. Everything else is just a bonus on the side. I will say, if you are going for silver here, you will get a lot more abyssal essences in the underground area than the upper. So just keep that in mind if you're going there exclusively to make those frenzy elixirs. Frenzy elixirs are very expensive. Let me show you right now. Endgame players as well as mid-tier players use it as well. So basically you turn abyssal essences, it tells you how to in the tooltip, into frenzy drafts. And those could sell for a lot if you don't use them. And endgame players will use them. So basically, if you grind there and you're selling them, chances are I'm buying them. So I think that's pretty good. Elvia spots in general are hit or miss in terms of XP. Because most of the time, if it's not Elvia orcs, you're grinding here for like the shards. And those are used to upgrade your accessories. And that's just how it is. So like basically you see an accessory, right? And then if you ever see some other streamer YouTubers videos and then their accessory is glowing like yellow or blue, because you get all these to craft a cup of name, and then you upgrade your accessories with it. So that's what it's for. Now we are in the 240 area. Mirror Mock Ruins. This is probably one of the best XP in the game for mid to higher end players, because one, it's soloable spots as well, and if you grind in a group, there's a lot of different rotations to the point where if you go there in a group, you get more XP, like everyone's doing their own rotation. So this is a very high-end spot to the point where you can grind from, like, I don't know, if you're actually grinding instead of leeching, you can get from like 61 all the way to 60 if you wanted to. And that's pretty cool. And so if you see people who are like, oh, I want to leech from level 1 to 61, this is probably the spot. So very high XP, in the top 3 for sure of how much XP you can get an hour. And going further into the 240 AP zone, Forest Renaros and Monchum, you're mostly there for the infinite potion pieces. So the ancient piece here and this one here. These are more, in my opinion, for money than XP. So you're grinding there for an item plus money more than XP, but it's not bad. It's just not great either. Let's see. Thornwood is, the XP is not that great, but the money is good. All right, let's talk about the 250 spots for Akhman and Histria. So back in the day, many years ago, these used to be considered the meta spots and places people would grind if you're within that area. And I do think they are decent XP up until 61. You do have a little bit of an AP requirement just because things kind of hit a little bit harder. But you're also here mostly for the compass piece, which are the upgraded compass parts. They're very rare. And most of the time it's more for money nowadays. But back in the day, grinding here was decent EXP. Kratuga Ancient Ruins. This is a spot for all your artifacts, and you basically, I think, in my opinion, if you're looking for any sort of artifact, this is the place to be instead of focusing it down in one specific spot, because this spot is decent XP, very good silver an hour, and especially if you use Agris, you can get all this stuff as well. But the only downside is it's kind of like out of the way. You have to actually go to the spot and then go to the underwater or under area for it. But if you plan on grinding here, definitely a good XP, silver, and like item drop rate. So I would definitely put this in at like a top 5. Swamp Fogans and Nagas. I don't actually remember how good the XP here is, but once again, you're grinding here for the shards, and then that's it. Star's End. This spot is more for, you are grinding for distos exclusively. The XP here up until like 62 is, it's all right, but like you're better off going somewhere else. But if you're grinding for distos, that's, well, one of the better ones. Sakraya Underwater. We talked about the upper before. Now this is the underwater version. You could get there from the center of the building from the upper area. And this one is a lot of silver an hour. It's a lot of XP an hour. The only downside is it is kind of a gear check to be in here at the 260 zone. But if you want money and XP at the same time, it's definitely worth doing. So just keep that in mind. It's out of the way, but if you are there, it's decent. Plus, you get a lot of Tungrads here, plus red shards, and then sometimes you get Sacred Songs, which are used to craft horse gear, the best in slot ones. Well, 1 of the 3 sets. Anyway, I have a set. It's okay. But anyway, you get those there. Sonals is kind of bad. You're there mostly, I guess, for the Crystallized Despairs, but even then, it's not that good. You're better off, like, grinding somewhere else. Tunkata, which is Churros, is a 2-person grind spot. You're there mostly for the flame and Turo belts, but it's not that great. Gyfin Upper. This is a 5-man grind spot, and this is a very solid XP spot. The money is decent as well here, but if you can get a group of 5 and grind there for a while, the XP is very solid, all the way up until like 66, I guess. So definitely an end game spot, higher on the requirement side. I think the hardest part of this spot is finding 4 other people to grind with you. And yeah, I think overall it's a very solid XP spot as well. Paddocks Island, you're there for the Rich Merchant Ring. That's it. Everything else kind of bad. All of these are these aren't that great. Marowak's Labyrinth is a unique mechanic down in the Mountain of Eternal Winter. And you're mostly there for the flames and stuff. But the spot the thing that makes this spot unique is you go into the labyrinth, right? And so you can grind with 4 other people, but not with them. So basically, think of a circle cut into like 5, or like a pizza cut into 5 slices, right? You get your own instance, and then the 4 people get their other own instance. And then you grind waves of monsters for like 10-15 minutes, right? And then it tells you, okay, a new area has opened. So like basically everyone shifts into a new circle of that pizza, right? And then you do that until the boss Versailles spawns. And then you go fight the boss, and then all 5 of you work as a team to fight the boss, and then you get loot. The spot's been buffed a few times, and I have some videos of me doing it, so you guys can watch it. And I think it's a really unique one that they should actually add more spots with more instance kind of things, and then you work together as a team to take down a boss at the end. So I think it's really cool. In terms of silver, it's okay, but like the instance part is unique. Jade Starlight Forest. Now this spot is okay for XP. The reason why you would be here is this is the best in slot area for the Flame of Frost and the Embers. So if you're looking to upgrade your Labresca helmet, this is the spot to be. It's very high silver an hour because it gives a lot of trash, and especially if you use Agris, there are people pulling like 40,000 plus trash an hour. The one thing is you kind of have to have a lot of inventory, or not inventory, weight, or be able to horse stack your everything, and a lot of maids and stuff. So it's a lot of silver, decent XP, but just keep in mind that you're going to be horse stacking your trash loot a lot. Bloody Monastery within the 280 area. This one is solid money. The XP is okay as well, but if you are within the 280 area, I would probably recommend going into the ore camp, because this one is just more money, more silver, more XP. Or yeah, I guess more money and silver is the same thing. But anyway, more XP. And if you're in the 280 area, this is probably the spot you want to be at, because it's about like 1% an hour at level 63 and up. So if you're like level 61 or 62 and you have the gear, chances are you're going to be making a few percent an hour. So that's like super fast leveling, and definitely a good spot to be. Definitely in the top 5 in my opinion. And what is this? Abandoned Monastery, restricted territory. Okay, so this is in Calpheon. This is the, let me just show you because most people won't find it themselves. So around here in the Calpheon area, where is it? Abandoned Monastery. So this is a 2-person grind spot. You ever see that notification in game where it's like the Dawn's Monastery or something, Grudge something is now spawning? That's this spot. And so basically you just grind circles, collect light orbs, and then eventually a boss spawns, a notification in the world appears, and it's like something is spawning, and then PvP happens, and then that's kind of fun. Not really, actually it sucks, but anyway, it's decent money if you're grinding in a group, but just know that when the boss spawns is a world notification, and usually like higher end people park their characters there and everyone fights over that boss. Okay, so where are we? Going down into all this. Giant's Outpost it's more money than XP. It's very slow. Well, kinda, but XP not so great, more for money. Hex Sanctuary, it's probably one of the top 3 in terms of money an hour, but the XP is not so great. So we'll talk about that in another video. Olin's is high money an hour, very low XP. Ash Forest, you're here for the Deboreka and or the Orzeka leaves. XP is trash, money is trash. You're here for items and money, or those items exclusively. Underground Gyfin at 300 AP. This is the #1 XP grind spot in the game. It has a very high requirement, but if you can grind there, it is worth doing for XP. That's why if you ever see people down there at like low levels, they're probably like a tagged character or someone's leeching there, so you could get from like level like 1 to 60 something there as well while leeching. But if you're grinding there, it is a high requirement. And let me just answer a question that you guys may have. Can you grind X spot with lower than requirement stats? Yes, you can grind it there, but these numbers right here that they give you are recommendations to be able to grind there efficiently. So yes, you can be there at like 260 AP. I've seen videos of people doing this on seasoned characters with like 240 and 250. Are you doing it efficiently at those levels? No. Can you do it? Yes. So definitely very good XP. Probably number 1 in my opinion. Very high requirements though. These two, Quint Hill and Crypt of Resting Thoughts, the highest or hardest grind spots in the game. You're there for items more than anything, like the Abyssal Gaze and the Deboreka belt. That's why you're there. The XP and money, not so good. For the like stress you gain by grinding these areas. Yeah, I go to Crypt of Resting Thoughts, get hit by like 3 things, and my health is chunked, and it feels kind of scary. So hopefully you guys learned something. That's all the grind spots, and I talked about the notable ones in my opinion. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. Join the Discord. Happy to answer questions, especially if you're a new player. And yeah, so I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new to your channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys come back. I make videos for new players, returning players, and people who are looking to get better at the game. I've been playing this game since the beta, and back in the day, I didn't have any guides, so I just had to figure all this out myself. And so I'm happy to pass the knowledge on to you guys. So if you have any questions, always happy to help answer them if I can. And with that said, before I head out, I just want to make one note of something. If you are looking to pick up the game and or upgrade the game, like from the base game to like the Conqueror's Edition or something, use my code Jonlaw. It's not case sensitive, and I get a small portion of whatever you spend on the game, whether you buy the game or upgrade the game or buy pearls or A coins, same thing. So basically when you buy these things up into the pearl box, like you buy the A coins, it's definitely what you have to do. I hate how you have to go through the A coin process and then buy the pearls and then convert it, but it's, you know, it's not a big deal. So if you use my code, I get a small portion. I would really appreciate it. And even if you don't spend any money and you want to play this game free to play, that's cool with me. As long as you guys are learning something in this game, that's mostly what it's for. So if you use it, awesome. I'd appreciate it. If not, that's also cool. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.